You don't want to turn that on. So,
Yeah.
On both days, morning.
Oh, I'm ready. I got the spirit.
All days. Yeah.
Before you take roll, is there any public comment, forms and?
Here.
Mrs. Mitchell, Mrs. Root,
Here.
Mr. Sawalish,
Here.
Mrs. Walters, Mrs. Galbraith is here, Mr. Albrecht.
Here. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Root, will you please recite the mission statement?
Yes, it is to empower each student to positively impact the world for a bright new future.
Thank you.
I know, I forgot to grab it. I was looking over there.
So with that, I'll turn it over to Dr. Coglanese for good news report.
Oh, thank you very much. We are very excited for our good news report. We have Monee Education Center. They are doing all sorts of fabulous things out there. Every time I've gone out there, Ms. Wartell is always showing me, hey, come on in here, let's take a look at this room and so forth. So lots of good things. This week, we wanted to have them highlight a very special Arrowhead studio that they've just started. So I'm going to let you introduce Mr. Wartell.
Good evening. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Thank you for having us. We're very excited tonight to just spend a few minutes with you about a new program that we have been thinking about for the last 10 years. This is something that long-term, and through the work of a hard team and the help of Dr. Coglanese and her central office support team, we wouldn't be here today and this quickly without the support of this team. So I want to thank everybody that's been involved with this. Before I go on, I want to introduce a few people.
Hi, I'm Kayla. I'm a senior at Monee Education Center.
She's one of our student leaders, and she's been such a vital part of our program. And we'll talk to her a little bit in a second, but I also want to introduce Judy Pappas, our assistant director, Justin Anderson, Mueller, and Ms. McCarthy is sitting on the sidelines, all staff members. It's been taking a whole group of people to get things going. So a few years ago, we've been working on transition plans for our students to transition from high school on to college or careers or to the military. And it was very hard in the school because lack of funding, transportation for internships and all that. So we were trying to come something in-house. And so it came kind of by accident. We were looking at a poster maker, and VeriQuest is a company that comes in and they have several different machines. And we said, wouldn't it be wonderful if our students could learn hard skills and soft skills that they could use no matter what their goals are after high school? And so our team got together and we started talking about all these wonderful things that we could do. Now, our school district, we have monthly themes. If you don't know, September was Suicide Month, October Bullying Month. And so one of the main things I have my teachers do is if you walk in MEC, each door is decorated per month on what that theme is. If anybody's ever done a door decoration, it takes a lot of work. Sometimes it would take 2 weeks to get, cut letters out, cut pictures out. Well, we found a machine that would be able to cut things out and produce things in an hour, which used to take 2 weeks. We thought, wouldn't it be wonderful for a student entrepreneurship program to be able to run something where they could help the teachers out, help people in the district out, and it just kind of morphed into something bigger and bigger. And this is going to be more of a question and answer kind of thing. I want to actually show you the things, but a couple things first. So we created a program called Arrowhead Studio Design. It's an entrepreneurship program.
And it is by students, for students.
And this is the most important thing. We could sit here as adults and we could cut things out. We could tell the students what to do and all that. But if you looked at their transition plans, all of our students had one thing in common. They all were creative and they were all wanting to go out in the world and do something big. And so we found something that we think that almost everybody could do. And anything you see here today, a lot of these students could buy these machines and do it in their basement or in their bedroom and actually start making money right away. And so we have a whole process that we started going through. And Kayla, if you could kind of talk. So we went through, the first thing that we did was interview all the students. So all the interview students had an interview through 2 processes, and kind of explain why you wanted to get it part of the program.
Well, when I first got to MEC, I was very shy, very introverted, and they can vouch for that. But the one thing that I always did was I always express myself creatively. And so if you visit our school, we actually have a wall right near the door, and I helped with that. And I take lots of pride in that. I take lots of pride in my creativity. And so nearing graduation, credits were a big thing for me. And so I came to Mr. Wortell and I said, hey, I need these certain credits to graduate. I needed community service credits. And he was like, Kayla, I have this amazing thing to tell you. We have this idea for a studio. We're cleaning out one of our rooms and everything is set up. And I think you'd be a valuable part of our team. And I felt honored. The fact that they trust me enough to even come here is a complete honor to me. And the studio really sparked my interest because even cutting out letters, we have different fonts, different sizes, different things to do with them. I was so interested because I had never done something like this before. And seeing all of the things that we could create, I made this shirt myself. We all made our shirts. It's something that I am proud to say that I'm a part of, really. And I beg all of you to come see it, to even try it out. It's the coolest thing in the world.
She's just one of many examples. I mean, she's a student who came to us not knowing where her future was going, and now I could say that she's looking, going to college, going maybe in the Air Force. She's got this bright future that that the staff has helped her, kind of mold and help her think about. She's always had this inside her, as many of our students do. It was our job to make sure they had a safe environment and a creative environment that we thought outside of the box. We know curriculum is important, but we know the social emotional is more important than anything. Now, this does have an academic piece, and Judy, can you kind of talk about that real quick?
So we offer a unique type of blended learning experience. Our students are able to earn half of a credit per semester when they put in 60 hours of work in the design studio. We have a time clock, they punch in, they punch out. We're getting them ready to go on a real job. In addition, we have access to 12 Edmentum Plato online classes that students will be working on at the same time that they're working in the design studio. We offer 2 semesters of business English, 2 semesters of business information management, business math, consumer math, economics, 2 semesters of marketing, advertising, and sales, 2 semesters of business marketing and finance, and 2 semesters of small business management. So at the same time the students are working, they're taking classes online. So we blended it.
So yeah, I think we covered almost every base. I could talk about this for hours and hours. So we put a manual together for each of you at your desk. And this has our business proposal. The students went through business proposal. It's got a 3-year plan. It tells you everything you need to do. So please take time and read it at some point. And then if you have any questions, come visit our school and I'd be glad to sit down with you and talk to you about it. But tonight we kind of want to show you some of the cool things that the students are doing and what we can do. And at each of your table, Kayla thought it would be a good idea to give each of you a gift. So each of those things that you see, the coffee mug, the emblem, those are all the things that we can do. There's bumper stickers in there. There's, what else? There's magnets in there and all that. So there's a lot of different cool things that we could do. So if you guys want to come up here and take a look at what we do so we could explain it to you, come on up. So there's several different things. You want to start at this end and talk about what are some of the things we do?
our stickers and cards. And then this is made on the poster printer. They come with a lot of pre-done posters, different templates, sample of two things they have. You can create your own, you put in your own fonts, you put in your own pictures. All around our building, we have all these posters all around our building. So this is the Motiva. It's a wood printer that comes off the wood. So you can stickers, lots of stickers, people don't have anything take one on that. And then this is the silhouette 10-inch vinyl cutter, and the towel, the hat, the shirt, all the emblems on here, the posters in the bags, the logos, the shirts, anything you keep up with you want to use. So that's kind of the so why don't we start with the advertising?
Yeah, so we did put a 3-year plan together. And this first year was supposed to be us just kind of finding our way because, our student population fluctuates, our leadership fluctuates. She's going to be graduating early, so we're going to be leaving her early. Yeah.
You're looking towards a maybe permanent internship until Monday.
Yeah, so we're going to try to go on. So to answer that is that we're moving a lot faster than we thought we would. So we see by December that road is going to be full rolled out, ready to help other schools. Our big plan is just for posters and all the door decoration of the school from CSK. People said, I don't have time, but I want for the Halloween door decoration. You could send us a plan. Taylor would get the job description. There's a whole form that you fill out. Dr. Cognizant was our first job. You want to kind of
Isn't it just his office? We have a baby teacher contest with all of us in that staff. It's not kind of like a yes.
And so our process for all of this is through every order. We always sit down as a team, tackle the idea, see who gets what, and if you get behind you, actually, that's one of our teams working on Dr. Cognizant, and we put some measurements up to the board so we can have an actual reference to how it would look. And then while I was cutting everything out, I had another team set it all up with his creative ideas and just let him run through. And then after we finished the episode together, we started to pass it. It was just, I didn't see how I didn't see how you guys.
So anybody owns a business or everybody who manage anybody, it gives these kids a unique situation that you just can't teach in the classroom. This is something that, you just can't say, let's talk about it. They actually go through it. We said, we're going to send this to Dr. Cognizant. They may come back to us and she may say, I don't like it. That's part of the process. Nice. But those are part of owning businesses and running businesses and being management. Some things may not go our way. So those are all teachable moments for us. And that's what this is endless possibilities. We could see this thing going huge. I always talk about I could rival Amazon sometime once we get all this stuff up and all that. But seriously, this is something, like I said, our students that own many of these machines and run their own business. If not, they're still learning the hard and soft skills.
I talked to some before on this campus. They were doing because not only are they making the stuff and being creative, but they're learning business skills. And they're doing, like you said, they're learning the skills that you cannot learn unless you can. But they're learning ahead of time in high school while they're getting started.
Exactly.
And especially in our interview process, a lot of people try to make a resume. We have a system called Navia, and it has colleges and scholarships and resume building. And some kids just needed this to be the place to make a resume. And then once they have that resume, they can use it to actually job.
How many students do you have?
15 million. So it's open to everybody, but this isn't for every. The thing is, we have a leadership position for every student, no matter what they like or don't like. So we're trying to find something. This business right now has 15 already, so over half of our students are interested. Once they start seeing the T-shirts and all that, everybody's like, I want to be part of it. So we'll even let a couple of kids want to be T-shirt designers. So start taking your own T-shirts. We'll let you come in, buy and get the space and all that. Get the picture, go back, and so we had no space in our building. We absolutely had nothing left, and so we took our old curriculum room. What do that? And our staff did such amazing, that's what it looked like before, and then the next picture. That's what we did this summer. So it's amazing what a team can do when they know it's the right thing for the students, and that's what this team, this is probably sitting way over there, she's a little shy today, but she's been with us the whole time, and I'm just, she's shy, yeah. But it's amazing what our team will do to make sure our students have what they want, and it started off with just a couple $100 investment, and then typically Dr. Cardenese and Kurt was all able to say, hey, we want this program to go and build. And so, like I said, this wouldn't have happened if we didn't have support from the central office staff. And just so thankful that we're at this point. Because, like I said, this should have took 2 to 3 years to get up running. We got it done in 3 months.
There's Miss McCarthy.
We were in the room.
Yes,
we were in the room, and we came out and talked to them.
Yeah. So our hope eventually is to change MEC's, it's so much more than an alternative. We don't even like the word to use alternative school, because you can. And it's your program.
That's the worst thing about alternative schools is actually better. And so I did not want to do it. I did not go the last quarter of my freshman year. It took me very long. And now I started going, and they were extremely welcoming.
And so are you. When I showed up that day, you opened your arms to me like,
hello! And it brought me out of a shell that I didn't know I was stuck in. And then seeing this, and I know a lot of the students there who have creative potential to admit to this myself. They're in touch and they're going to start passing time. This, just the smallest thing, can push them forward and get that spirit started. And even if they don't want to do anything else to do it, I'm a senior and my career path changes all the time. You never know what you're going to do, what you're going to do.
any questions for us?
This is great. Excellent job. She seems to be a national.
Yeah,
she was a people that quiet and all of that. I'm just gonna say you couldn't have a better speech.
Really?
Right.
Do you know for this?
We rented her.
She's in disguise,
Yes.
right?
And the most amazing part of it, the word she's graduating.
Yes, graduating.
She thinks she's staying around.
Yeah.
You got 2-year contract.
And she's just one example of many of our students that they all have leadership skills. They all have the self-worth that just no one would want to bring that out. And I think our family, our team, has been able to do that. And you couldn't do that. And it's such a small setting. It's a welcoming center. I'm glad to start off with your mission statement. Because our mission statement was actually kind of very close to that. So we adopted theirs just to keep it all the same. But that's really where we're at. I mean, that is what MEC is all about. We're taking the student where they're at and bringing them to where they can potential. There is no boundaries for us.
We are looking to the how we're going to work. We want to do more
Be more of a choice for something where students could come, not because they're so but because, hey, I want a different kind of learning style. We need to stop this, sitting 35 people in a classroom and saying everybody's different. That's not right.
My economics is since she's been over there, the role of leadership in the team, you have taken kids to the situation.
Oh, we will.
Not because of the therapy job, it's seeing that, because we have to
Yeah.
making our comments here.
I want them to, have your control and they start walking out.
No, we have to sit down with the pen, make sure it's all legal.
I want to buy some of the cards.
We need a
For profit.
We need a
Definitely want cards.
Yeah.
Thank you for our law.
Get your own website too.
Yeah, we talked about a web design. It's all in your handbook too, all the different things that we can
This is
do.
a hit. This is a hit.
In the cards, for example, a lot of us don't have money to get their parents and money to pay parents. They work for our studios, we get to
get free cars off to your brothers and sisters and all that. Just there's endless possibilities.
And that Christmas tree, so it'd be so
Yeah,
cute on Halloween.
exactly.
And you know, honestly, I saw
Yeah.
Shark Tank, someone came.
Well, I thought I was going on Shark Tank.
Well, you but they got a deal.
We're not
with
that
those cars. They got a similar deal
Yeah.
with those cars, so wow.
It's pretty interesting, so.
I'd like to do my comment. I was also able to go and see this in action because I went to the therapy dog session, and that's how I met Kayla. The minute I got there, she had 2 of the dogs, I think, and Jalen had 2, and they came right to me, introduced themselves. I would have never known that you weren't an active go-getter. So kudos to you and to you guys for bringing that out of her, because look at her today from what you had 3 years ago. So kudos to the whole group for that. Miss McCarthy, you know I love you. I see you in action all the time, inside and outside the school. Miss Pappas, you guys you do amazing things there, and this is proof of it. And I'm just so proud to say that you're in our school district. Kim was nice enough that day, she took me in the room and I said, how does this work? And she made a card and she did this, and it was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Hortel, there is no end to you. I mean, you know no bounds, and for that I thank you. Because somebody like Kayla is a living example. I mean, I got to meet half of the students maybe that day, and each and every one of them became therapy dogs in this project. It was amazing to watch them come out of their shells and to learn the same thing you're saying. You can't put 35 kids in a room and expect them all to learn the same way. So my hats are off to you. You do fabulous work over there. And all I can say is I need codes too.
Yeah, I definitely want some.
We
Yeah.
will. Very good.
Thank you guys so much.
Miss McCarthy, you guys come on up. I'm so proud of you. So proud of you.
I will get
I want everything. I want it all.
financial interest.
Get in.
Kayla, you can look right here.
Yeah, we're just waiting. Natalie will tell us if we're wrong. Trust me. Yeah, we want to. I like it. I like it. Oh, that's perfect. Oh my God, all by ourselves? We did that? Oh. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Arrowhead. Arrowhead. Thanks.
We do have to take this back to our studio.
Darn it. You guys are good. So we'll put it on.
So this is a great, good news report tonight, and Carrie, any public comment?
Good news.
We have
That's right.
no public comment. Next up, administrative updates, superintendent.
All right, I'm going to give you an update on some of the things that we've been working on in the district. We have started our finance and facility committee meetings. Now that our strategic plan is completed, we now have some guidelines for what we want to do. We had our first joint meeting of the finance and facility meeting. It was considered a special board meeting, and the minutes you will be approving this evening. We met on September 26th from 5 to 7. And what we focused on was developing norms and roles, review the charge of the committee, review strategic plan goals number 5 and 6. We focused on the equity and the financial stewardship that these goals outlined, and we developed common vocabulary to better understand the strategic plan. So it was really a foundation-setting meeting. We have subsequent meetings that start getting into the real work. The finance meeting already met October 9th from 4:30 to 6:30 this last week. And here we discuss the financial thresholds of what the communities were comfortable with borrowing. As we last proposed, we were looking at maybe an $83 million price tag for doing everything. So we came back, started at the drawing board to say how much money is the communities really ready to borrow? And then we were going to work backwards and do a backfitted plan. So the committee came up with anywhere between 50 and 75 million as a range. So we're going to turn that price tag over to the facility committee, let them look at the drawings and diagrams and have them work backwards to see how they could retrofit that price range there. The facility committee will be meeting this week, this Thursday, 4:30 to 6:30, and then October 30th. So we're moving along probably very swiftly on that. Some other things, we wanted to make sure that the community is aware that we've been focusing on safety and school culture this year. Specifically been focusing on the theme of building relationships across the district, not only with our students, but with staff members and reaching out to the community. The district has been very vigilant this year with focusing on school safety and school culture. We have been focusing on bus issues that have been coming up, taking a look at individual bus situations and making sure that we're viewing tapes and taking care of any behavioral issues on the buses, and we're still monitoring many situations that are coming up. Yes.
Ask you,
Yes.
so have we made any progress regarding an action plan to address the bus issues, or are you just still kind of sporadically looking at certain things? Have we actually came up with a formulated action plan as of yet? Or
Yes,
still-
we already had an action plan, and we're just making sure that,
Okay, so we have an action plan, but in your opinion, we wasn't working the plan as appropriate?
correct, we are making
Okay.
sure that the bus drivers are submitting the referrals for us to start knowing that there's issues on the bus, and that's been kind of the gap. So we've worked with the bus company to get those going and so forth.
You haven't put anything, I didn't see anything in the FYI, anything relevant to bus issues in your FYI?
Not this last week.
Yeah,
Well, you had in the FYI that you had met with the manager
okay.
and.
Dr.
just
Clark
requested
wrote that in the
report,
last month,
it-
last week.
Emphasizing that the bus drivers are responsible for making referrals, et cetera.
So that we can pull the tapes and take action.
So let's continue to
Absolutely.
put a high level of focus on that particular issue.
It
I
is
know the board
a,
have their eyes on it.
it is an area that we are highly monitoring because we do want to make sure that our kids feel safe on the bus.
Okay.
We want to make sure that families feel that their child is safe on the bus. And again, we always encourage families to reach out to us and alert us if there's something that we've missed. We will go and investigate that. So we've been active in that.
If you don't mind, if I just want to
Yes.
add on to that, just quick. One issue, I think, they're separate, I think. One is the bus company and the other one is on the bus, right? Right. So they're separate, just as long as we have as long as we're monitoring that. If we can, if we can, just maybe in the FI or every other week, just give us an update on how many incidences.
Across the
getting better
district?
Or worse, just so we know that we can make sure the kids and the parents feel. We want to make sure that when they're sending their kids to us, not only in the schools, obviously.
Absolutely.
but
Absolutely.
Now that the bus issue, we want to make sure that that's, and I think the first student issue is separate from the behavior.
Correct, correct.
And I'd like to see that by school, not just a total amount of incidents like 5 for the
Sure.
middle school or whatever.
And
Do we know,
we do
are we starting to see more reports come in?
Yeah.
Do we know? Are we starting to see the bus drivers giving us
We are
reports?
seeing many, and we've had some students suspended from the buses. We've also had, security on certain buses that
Mhm.
needed it. In fact, one of my middle school, they were sending, the principal was going to be taking the bus ride after school today as well.
Okay,
So,
that's good to hear.
we are on that. And like I said, anytime we get a report of something, we are pulling tapes and getting either security offers, teachers or staff to take a bus ride home that day. I know the building principal, especially at the middle school, is working very hard to make sure that these issues are taken care of.
And anybody who's contacted me, I've encouraged them to let the
Please.
principal of the school, and most of it is the middle school. We we seem to have an issue there. I don't know what it is, if they're feeding off of each other, whatever. Anybody who contacted me, I asked them to please make sure they contact the principal and/or Dr. Clark. And if they know other parents who are not doing it, please encourage them to do it because we want to fix it. So that's what I've been doing. If
Absolutely.
anybody's reached out to me, I've just kind of been saying the principal and Dr. Clark, and if you have other parents, because they'll say, well, there's 3 other parents, and I'm like, they need to report it because I can't fix it if it's not
Yes,
reported.
I strongly
So that's what I've been
encourage
doing.
that chain of command. You've got to start telling people what's
Right.
going on, and if there's no satisfaction, you go to the next level, but you've got to let us know so we can take care of it.
Right.
Yeah, if you don't mind, on the committee of the whole or the meetings, we're probably gonna bring it up, just to monitor the situation.
Just to hear how things are going, okay?
Because we want to make sure that we stay on top of this.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
One thing, I don't think it is a problem, but to let the board kind of help me out with this. Just as another way of communicating to the community is to, maybe we can put a little blurb on our website, just reinforcing our expectations, telling the parents, hey, parents, nothing big, a sentence or so saying, just remind your kids of the behaviors that we expect on the bus or something like that. We don't have to say that there's been issues or troubles out there, some Natalie is good at this.
Well, I do know,
Just a
especially,
blurb, and keep it up for a couple weeks or a week or so.
Just so the parents can help us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just a blurb, boom.
and some of our buildings are actually going in and reteaching at the bus routes. They're talking with the kids again to
Okay.
make sure that they know what the expectations are. So we will continue to monitor this. I will give the updates on a
But see
monthly
if you can get a
basis.
blurb and talk to your communication director and,
Okay.
and, and just if it's a good spot that she deemed to be appropriate on the website.
Maybe, yeah, Facebook
Yeah, I don't
Twitter.
know. I'm
Okay.
not a Facebook
Yeah,
person,
okay,
so
well, you
I
won't
will
look for it
watch the
there.
website once in a while, but, okay,
Okay.
thank you.
All right, they are there, from what I understand.
Okay, great. Yeah, if it's there, fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, again, monitoring it versus all of our schools. We are continuing to do our practices with our restorative circles at each of our buildings. And, certainly monitoring, some of the things that have happened with back to school. September was probably one of our months we had, more activity for student discipline. It seems like it has died down a little bit at this point. So we are certainly taking a look at other ideas, looking at other school districts. We are looking at other ways of strategies to put into place to continue to keep those numbers, in check.
Mr. Brown, you don't do Facebook, so I'll tell you about this. Just recently, there was a post about the chief of police in Crete posts a blotter, I guess you would call it, with all the calls they've answered.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, there were quite a few to our high school. So I contacted Dr. Coglanese and I said, I think you need to be aware of this post. I don't have an issue. I mean, it's the truth is the truth.
Sure.
But I was kind of wide-eyed when I was reading it.
Mhm.
And then there were comments from community members, and I thought that Dr. Coglanese should be aware of it. So I called and left a message when I was thinking about it on her voicemail. And I'm concerned because I don't want to go back to the way it was a few years ago.
Mhm.
So I was concerned. There were quite a few things out there. So one of the things in my little brain, and I think maybe we can have a quick talk if we have a couple of minutes, is I'm wondering if we need help at the high school. Do we need more security guards? Do we need, I mean, I don't know what the answer is, but I want this nipped in the bud. And I know many of it was fights. What was fights? What was the other one?
Tobacco.
Well, yeah, those minor tobacco things. What was the other one? Fights and it began with a B. Can you remember? Not bullying. It was something else. Those are the ones that concern me. And there were 4 or 5 of those, I think, and it was for a 20-day period. There were 11 calls to the high school. One was tobacco, one was drug paraphernalia or something. There were a couple of, yes, they're serious enough, but I think it's good that the public knows we're taking battery. That's what it was. Battery was the B. So I think it's good, number one, that the positive to this is that the community knows that we're acting on this now. We're not just letting things run rampant. So I'm pleased that he's publishing this for the community to know, and that we are signing complaints, letting the students know they have consequences. Your actions do have consequences. So in my mind, I'm trying to think, what can we do before this is out of hand? I mean, this was a lot of calls, maybe it was a fluke, whatever, but we already have an SRO there. And to me, are they testing them? I don't know the answer. I'm throwing this out there. Do we need a few more security officers? Would that help? What's the deal?
Yeah, Dr.
You know?
Her and I just had a sidebar offline conversation about just security overall. So I think Dr. Cogman maybe you can bring something back to our community as a whole regarding this issue overall. Do we have adequate support at the high school? That's pretty much our main issue right there. I think we pretty much okay throughout the rest of the district, but just at the high school, I know you kind of brought something up to me, some concerns and all, so I think it lends itself to bring it out to the full board. So, yeah, how about, Nelson, you can.
My concern is that's a month away.
Oh, maybe.
And we have the issue right now.
Okay.
I mean, this report was up to October 13th, which
Okay.
was 2 days ago when he printed it. I think, I
So
get what
saying
you're
put it
saying,
on
but
a
I
fast
think we
track
need
and
some quick action
maybe-
here.
So if that's the case, we need to put something on a fast track and have a special meeting.
Something to get it.
Okay it. That's, other than that,
Right.
we're talking about.
Because if we go another 3 or 4 weeks,
Yeah.
now what else
So if
is
you
going to
believe it's
happen?
that much urgent.
That's why I'm bringing it up.
What would you propose resolving or
Well,
addressing
that's-
at a special
Are you looking for additional staffing?
Well, approval.
For additional staffing?
Approval.
Okay.
If she thinks and believes that, we need to hire people, additional staff or whatever her
Do
recommendation
we
is.
need to vote on that, or can she just do that?
Well, what we would do is we would,
I think the
I'm ask-
contracts.
no.
we would
just
bring the
asking.
position, we would bring the people to be voted on, and then you would either vote for them.
Right, but I mean, she could post jobs, right?
I could.
I
I could.
think it's security if she wanted to enter a contract in some way, shape or form. I don't know. So I guess you and Nelson can talk about it.
I will work on it.
Yeah, and if it, we already know there's an issue.
Right.
And if you believe that we need additional funds to address those issues with.
Right. And it's not just
Specific
about the
personnel.
additional, there's a lot of other strategies that we're looking at in addition.
Yes. So
And number one in my head is safety of our students
Sure.
and our staff.
Absolutely.
that's why.
And right now, we know
So-
that
so
there's
we
been
have some
talk that
challenges,
the high
huh?
school staff and
Yeah.
some students don't feel safe.
Right.
I'm unhappy every time I hear that, and I'm
Mhm.
sure everybody else is on this board. So to me, we need to address this, we need to handle it and do it now,
And as we
as
know,
fast
some
as we can.
teachers and personnel don't feel safe, and
Right,
that's an
staff
issue
and
too.
students.
So
And
we're-
training is,
we're
has to go
listening
hand in
and we'll-
hand
we
with
will
the-
respond.
Yeah.
And again, we don't want to go all the way to the left or all the way to the right. There's a balancing act too when it comes to teachers and behavior, restorative
Right.
justice and all that. So that whole
Right.
package deal
That's why
needs to be.
training's
Yes.
imperative
Yes,
with whatever you do. Yeah.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you,
right.
Janine, for bringing it up.
So next, we have our very own Eric Bertram. He's going to be coming up and talking about Child Internet Protection Act.
Okay.
And here he is.
Good evening.
Hello.
So a big part of my job is managing E-rates, which is a significant source of funding.
Here we go.
There we go. And we're reimbursed at the same rate for certain services as our free and reduced lunch percentage students. So you go to the next slide. So E-rate helps us offset the cost of our internet for the students. This year, I think it was to the tune of a little over $300,000. And that money, that's my phone bill down in the bottom corner. You can see my $3.88 contribution to E-rate. So to be eligible for this, we have to make sure that we're in compliance with CIPA, the Child Internet Protection Act. And over the last year, I've kind of been digging into the legalities of it. And the one thing that was missing was many years ago, we should have had a public forum just like this, just to tell you what we're doing to keep our students safe. it's a one-time thing, should be pretty painless. So go to the next one, Don. So in order to get the E-rate funds, here we go. We have to stay in compliance with SIPA. SIPA basically tells us that we need to protect students. Let me get the exact measures. We have to take measures restricting minors' access to materials harmful to them, which is usually broadly defined as adult material. Beyond that, we're a little bit up to our own to decide what that is, and we work with the building administrators and the staff here to kind of decide what we block and what we don't.
And you also said that you have people behind the scene. Are those outside contractors we have? Do we pay?
We have a specific service. You can click to the next one. We have a specific service that we contract every year.
And you
part of keeping the students safe is monitoring email and Google Drive. And that's honestly where we see most of the problems. It's not in the internet searches or the internet activity. It's emailing each other. It's things the students send to each other in their Google Drives. And the service that we use monitors that for keywords, and then they have real people on the other end that follow up, read whatever might be an issue, and then decide if it's an issue or not. If it is an issue, they alert people at the building level, at the district level, and then it's remedied.
So is that part of the E-rate reimbursement? Do we pay this third party separately?
We pay the third party separately.
We pay them
in
separately.
order to stay in compliance with the Child Internet Protection.
And is those expenses, are they reimbursable? As far as the whole E-rate, they're not.
But we count those against what we get from the grant, and it's a small sum compared to what we get from the grant.
And you have an idea, just broadly,
that one
on a
particular
yearly
service we use, Gaggle, is about $40,000
a year?
a year. And with that, we're able to recoup, this year it should be close to between $400,000 and $500,000. So.
Okay. Okay.
So how do we stay in compliance with SIPA? This is the meat of everything. This is what I need to present to you so that we're in compliance with SIPA. We have and I left out some details here because giving too many details can allow people to potentially hack into what we have or research it a little more. So if you'd like more details, I'd be happy to discuss it with you. We have a very robust firewall. As of this year, we have the best internet filter commercially available today. And that filters students both here at school and at home. So they get the same filtering policy everywhere.
So that's everything that goes to our server, correct?
It does not. It actually, let me back up a little bit. It's a cloud-based service, and it authenticates from the Google login. So if the student logs into their home computer or their phone or anything with their school email address, they automatically get this policy that's sent down to filter.
So it's not actually through our server.
No, it's user-based, so we can give different policies to different grade levels as we should. And we can filter here and at home because it is a cloud-based solution that we have a version in the cloud, we have a version here. They match, they sync each other. So here, if somebody tries to search for something, it never leaves the district if it's inappropriate. At home, it has to go out, check against the known bad agents, and then come back and deny the request.
So is this a 24/7?
Absolutely, absolutely. And so as far as the email and drive filtering, they're very good about letting us know as soon as they find something. And actually, we've resolved several issues with student safety by using this service. It's been, I'll admit I was a little skeptical at first because of the price tag, but it's a real powerful piece of software. And the last thing we need to do to stay in compliance with SIPA is to have this informational presentation, just let you know what we do to keep the students safe. And that's really all I've got. Is there anything else? Any questions?
No, but I just had So we all have that fee on the bills? So that's where all this E-rate
Cell
money?
phone bills, yeah.
Oh, I didn't-
On there's the
never realized
universal
that.
service or universal service fund.
Oh, okay.
And that's where this big pile of money comes from.
That's interesting.
That's
I
what-
never knew
that's
that.
Because it's about 99 additional fees. there.
Right, yeah, you don't know what all those things are,
And
but
The
that's,
universal service fee is one of them.
at least
And-
something like that you don't mind as much. At least it's doing something positive. Yeah.
What frequency do you have to come before the board?
One time. This is it. So I just have to let you know that we are doing everything we can to make sure our students are safe online with email and with their drives.
Is this yearly or just this is it?
This is it. This is all we have to do to stay in compliance. It probably should have been done quite a while ago. but I just found it.
So Eric, you report to Ken?
I do.
Okay. So we had issues as far as getting reimbursement for our E-rate expenses a couple years back.
Yes.
I mean, we lost
A lot.
$300,000, $400,000, $500,000. It was a lot of money. I might be exaggerating a little bit, but nonetheless, it was relatively in that ballpark. So are we okay now overseeing that? Are
We are.
you
And-
have been given a task to oversee the reimbursements of
Ken
E-rate?
asked me to keep a close eye on it and to make sure we get everything we can. We're waiting for approval, but we found another bucket of money we can claim from, I think it was the 17-18 school year before I started. So we're in the process of trying to claim that.
So your goal is to report out to the board, the reimbursements, just kind of keep us abreast and updated. If you could, just, a couple, 300, if you could, if you guys don't mind.
Old business.
A great deal.
We did get some of that. We did. We did.
Just a little bit of money. I
Sure.
mean, it wasn't, I don't remember what the number is, so I'm not gonna, I don't remember what it was. But we did recoup a great portion of that money, yes, yes.
From what I read, we recouped the majority of it, I
Yeah, I
believe.
remember, it was pretty good.
It was a good chunk that we kind of left, but we had to reel it in.
And I will say that, Eric has done a great job, and we also have a consultant, an E-rate consultant, that is absolutely fabulous.
He's amazing, yeah.
He is absolutely fabulous.
And what do we pay him? Or they, or the firm?
$600, $800 a month, something like
Yeah, it's about $800 a month.
Yeah.
So it costs you 12 months.
There's-
Well, no,
It's about 10 grand.
Well,
10 grand,
It's
9,600,
about $8,000 a year.
96.
that. There's a lot of legalities
Mhm.
involved with this, and I am not a lawyer. So, that seems like money well spent again to recoup.
Just so you know, I mean, just for sure, our Comcast bill is reimbursed every year, and that is $330,000 right there. You get that reimbursed every year,
Penny for penny?
penny for penny.
Comcast.
Comcast.
Okay. So
That's our
does,
internet provider.
okay, does the Comcast can they provide us the phone service as well? Comcast, you ever thought
Well,
about
we are
that?
voice over IP.
We are moving to voice over IP through Comcast.
And so would that be 100% reimbursement as well?
No, because it used to be, the way E-rate started out, it was telecommunications
Right.
reimbursement to try and get phones in the classroom, that kind of thing. And then that morphed into internet connectivity with Comcast. And now they have what's called Tier 2 funding, which the access points in here and some of the infrastructure to actually get us to the internet is now included too. I believe we've exhausted those funds, but I've heard that there may be another round of infrastructure funding,
Come on.
which would be great.
Okay, excellent. Just one more question. The computers that the students use, we have the filters and we got our backers out there supporting us to say, hey, this was inappropriate, da, 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 da. Do we have these filters on all of the computers?
Every computer in the district,
And
actually it's every account in the district.
every account? So those that take their computers home, are you still able to
Absolutely.
get it?
So
Okay.
again, it's by account.
Account.
So even if a student logs into their home computer with their school credentials into Google at home, they'll get the same filtering.
So as students and staff and employees as well?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not tied to the computer.
This is as far as I go here. What goes on at the school board stays at the school board. Okay, all right. So I would like to, if you just kind of give us not so much numbers, but you said it was effective, but you never really said that, hey, you know what, we had about 10 cases, not being specific, but we did address 10 cases or 20 cases. I would like to hear something
Yeah.
like that. going around?
We do get some warnings about inappropriate website usage, that kind of thing.
And how do we handle
those
it?
to the building,
Yeah.
at the building level. They handle
Okay, okay.
As far as the email and drive safety issues,
Mhm.
I think today we had 2 warnings. I get a warning about once a day, 4 or 5 times a week maybe.
Okay,
And those are followed up, and those don't only go to me, they go to some of the senior admins, they go to the building level staff, the deans, and the deans then bring the students to remediate.
okay.
So when you get a warning, it's tied to an ID, so you know.
It's tied to a specific email or a specific item in the student's drive. It has their name and ID on it.
And it captures that, so you have.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah,
And
and
we also
again,
do that with staff, right? Same
yes,
thing.
yeah, and again, there's a human element on the back end, so we're not dealing with false alarms all the time. People actually look at these and say, yes, this has keywords in there that are concerning, we should check it out. And they'll even call us if they don't hear a response from us relatively quickly.
Have you heard the term phishing with a P and spearing?
Yes.
So it's more of a security, and we have as a corporate level initiative at my job, and they want to look at people, the employees they call clickers, ones that just click on everything and don't really look and see what they're clicking on, and that lends itself to allowing outsiders to come in and affect the company emails and all that stuff. So I know at one point, I don't know if you was here. I don't know if Keith was here, but maybe you was here, Eric, when we kind of got tapped in from an outside
Yeah,
source.
I was not here, I heard about it. But
Okay, and that wasn't good.
No,
So you're saying we beefed up our security
We did.
from that point?
we did, we've improved our firewall.
Okay,
And another part of SIPA states that we're supposed to do everything we can to mitigate hacking.
okay,
And we do that. We are very lucky to have Mike Suma on staff,
okay,
who is a Cisco certified networking professional, which is kind of the second highest certification you can get in IT.
wow,
And he's really done a lot to clean up our network and make sure we're safe and ready to move forward.
excellent, good job.
Okay, is that why you can't be detailed on there?
I would prefer not to be,
Yeah.
but I'm happy to discuss it with you if you'd like. So,
It's all good.
Yeah,
I understand everything.
I thought I saw that paraphernalia right there about 35 years ago. That's
You
what we
might, you
got.
might have, I don't think that's real.
I still have
Of
it,
an
yeah.
8-track machine.
I know.
Just like rotary phones.
I know, like the Commodore VIC-20.
Eric, thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you so much.
Last I'm on here is to thank those that donated to the district. Crete Elementary School would like to send a thank you to Chief Waterman. He's the Crete Fire Department. He was out there for our first and second graders doing fire safety demonstrations. And Crete and Talala both would like to thank Mrs. Westerman from Crete Women's Club for their donations of school supplies. So we thanks to all of them. That's it.
Okay. Okay, next up, business meeting, consent agenda approval. Could I have, Dr. Taglianis, would you read the consent agenda before I get a motion?
Yes. Number 1, regular meeting minutes for September 17, 2019. Regular meeting closed session minutes of September 17, 2019. Special meeting minutes of September 26, 2019. Committee of the Whole meeting minutes of October 8th, 2019. And Committee of the Whole first closed session minutes of October 8th, 2019. And Committee of the Whole second closed session minutes of October 8th, 2019. Curriculum is for the high school's Genesso Wrestling Tournament. That would be for a field trip. And then for business, item number 1 is approve accounts payable, agenda of bills. Number 2, approve payroll. And 3, approve treasurer's report.
Before I get into motion, does any board member have an objection or would like to pull any single item off the consent agenda? Okay, not. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So move.
Second?
Roll call, please. Or any questions, discussion items? Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Sawalish?
Aye.
Mrs. Root?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mrs. Galbraith is an aye. Mr. Albrecht?
Aye. Motion passes. Okay. Okay, action reports. First up, business, approve the purchase of multifunction student activity bus.
Take that one, or you-
Well, no, I think there's only if there's any questions.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the purchase of the multifunction student activity bus?
Moved.
Second.
Are there any questions? Comments?
Can we just, Dr. Coglin, or Ken, just kind of say what it's about? Just kind of let the public know, just.
Well, I'll just say quickly, as you recall from our committee of the whole meeting, this is an activity bus that we would be giving to Monee Educational Center. It houses about 15 students. It is wheelchair accessible, and it is for providing students transportation to and from the high school, after-school events, or even doing any sort of internships. So we're really pleased to have that bus. It's a white bus, and we're looking forward to having that to use for our students.
Thank you.
Okay. Did we,
We have a motion.
we have a motion? Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mrs. Root?
Aye.
Mr. Sawalish?
Aye.
Mrs. Galbraith is an aye. Mr. Albrecht?
Aye. Okay, next up, human resources. Can I have a motion to approve the personnel report?
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions regarding the personnel report? Okay, hearing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mrs. Root?
Aye.
Mr. Sawalish?
Aye.
Mrs. Galbraith is an aye. Mr. Albrecht?
Aye. Okay, item number 2 under human resources. Can I get a motion to direct the superintendent to sign a memorandum? Let me start over.
Monee.
Can I have a motion to direct the superintendent to sign a memorandum of agreement / dash retirement for the retirement incentive language?
Moved. Second.
Are there any questions, comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Sawalish?
Aye.
Mrs. Root?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mrs. Galbraith is an aye. Mr. Albrecht?
Aye. Item number 3 on the human resources. Can I get a motion to direct superintendent to sign a memorandum of agreement for related services?
Moved.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mrs. Root?
Aye.
Mr. Sawalish?
Aye.
Mrs. Galbraith is an aye. Mr. Albrecht?
Aye. Are you doing okay with your secretary? Do we need?
I'm pre-filled.
Okay.
I know.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, item number 4 under human resources. I would like a motion to approve the resolution to modify the employment contract of Superintendent Dr. Kara Coglin.
Moved.
Second.
Any comments or questions? And this is to approve for goals for the current school year.
The amended goals.
Yes. Okay, any questions, comments?
No, I just think the board did a good job and with the superintendent to come up with some alternative goals, or goals changing, and to give us what we want. I believe that was a good thing. We came together as a group, so kudos to the board and the superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Roll call, please.
Mr. Sawalish?
Aye.
Mrs. Root?
Aye.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mrs. Galbraith is an aye. Mr. Albrecht?
Aye. Motion passes. Okay. Old business.
You know, if I can go back, I did have a question kind of snuck past me on the action report. Okay, just on the, I know, but it's just, if I could, it could, old business or new business or in between. There's a couple questions I had on the action report in general. We don't have to flip back.
Okay.
Okay. Is it okay?
Yeah, we'll call this
Okay.
old- since it's already passed.
It
We're calling it now
passed.
old business.
Okay, old business. It is old business. Okay, good. It was a couple things, Ken, with the accounts payable, Aqua, you know, we've been having issues with the water, and we specifically have two schools in the district, right? CSK and the middle school, that Aqua provides our schools with water. Okay. Provides us with water services. And I saw some negative numbers in there, and I saw a positive number in there. So what is it? Are we still paying, or what's the deal on that? Are we paying for Aqua water services now, even though they haven't quite gotten it right?
See, Mr. Sermon knows he's going to have to address this one.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I had it. I forgot it was under.
We're gonna make it
I
more.
forgot it was under consent.
That's okay.
For the months of June and July, we were credited by Aqua Illinois for the bills, so that's the credits you would see there.
Yeah.
They haven't, as far as I understand, they have not credited us for August yet.
Okay.
I have not had that conversation with them to see. I know when we met with them, we had asked them that question. I did at least, and the response was, "We're going to talk about it." Well, you know, it hasn't happened. And then, so I'll be happy to reach out to the president of the company and find out if we can get a credit for that. And then some of the other that you'll see in there, the positives that you see in there, I believe Crete gets, and I haven't looked at the report, but I believe Crete gets Aqua Illinois also. So that could be the bill in there, or it could be the August bill.
Yeah,
that's in there
I did
too.
see Crete. I did see Crete in there
So
too
that
as
could be
well.
why those positive numbers are in there.
Okay.
So do we pay an Aqua bill and then get credited? Is that kind of what you're?
No, we have not. No, the credit came through like that, so we just posted it as a credit. But we did not pay the bill and then they credited us. No.
Okay.
All right. So it's just a credit that they put in, so we put it on there as a credit from an accounting standpoint.
And as of right now, still CSK in
the
middle school, you can't use the water still, right?
Right.
Right. We're still at that point. We did have some testing done. We're still waiting on the results of that testing. We haven't gotten them all together yet. In fact, Keith and I today just talked with the testing agency. So we're hoping to have that in a few days. And then what we'll do at that point is we'll put a mitigation plan together, because I want to put a plan together if there are any issues there. One thing I will tell you, I'll share some good news with you, is that I was able through LK to get a drinking fountain for CSK in their program that they have, Fountains for Youth. They had over 3,000 applicants for that. So they dispersed it amongst all those schools and that. So we were able to get one of the drinking fountains, and it's one that has a lead filter on it. It also has a water bottle filler on it too. And that's, so the value of it, the list value is a little over $3,500 for that.
And Mr. Surma, I just found out from Ms. Trish over at the high school that they also received one. A parent had gone ahead and done the same grant. So they received that.
So, yeah, and I think, and I think Crete Elementary also got one. We got that.
I didn't realize
I
that.
did apply for one from the middle school, but I haven't heard yet on that. I don't know if we'll get one for there. But again, that'll be part of our mitigation plan that we'll go through. We're getting those for sure. But again, I'm a couple of things, and I won't go into a lot of detail, but a couple of things, is thinking about what the facility plan is going to be, where we would put those things, what type of things do we want to do, do we want to invest in that? I think the water is a smart investment, is something we have to invest in for our kids. And that I just think we have to do that. So it's kind of looking at that realistically and seeing what we can do in that. I'm also want to have a conversation with LK to see if we can get any type of discount on future water fountains also. And that, because I think we're going to need them in a lot of our schools, especially the way the water is, and especially having the lead filters on them. I think that's the way to go for all of our schools, actually.
Okay, so are we still providing water to those schools?
We still are providing water to those schools.
Bottle.
We have water coolers there that we're providing basically Hinckley Schmidt water to them. Until I get the results and until I get the mitigation plan, I just think it's safe that we do it that way.
Mhm.
What I will tell you is what the testing agency said to us by looking at some of the results, it looks like flushing is working.
Okay, but they still haven't came to the point where we got it all out or
We got
whatever.
it all out. No, we haven't done that. Because, and again, to let you know about the way this whole testing works, is that we have to have the system shut down for 8 hours. And that, am I right, Keith? It has to be shut down for 8 hours. So it has to have a stagger point. So that's why nobody can use the water in the entire building for 8 hours. Then the testing agency will come in and they will take a sample right out of that, of what they call stagnant water.
Stagnant. Mhm.
And then they'll have to let it flush for 30 seconds, then they take a second sample on that. So your first sample could have some lead in it, but your second sample after you flush it may not have lead in that. That's what they're kind of seeing on some of the things. Some have no detection and no detection on both. So every single faucet that we did, and Keith, you know how many we've done? We did actually?
I don't feel confident.
Rough
I
idea.
think I would say 150.
About 150 different samples that we take, and fixtures that we took. Yeah, and that's 2 samples per, and that. So, so again, once we get the results, we'll put the mitigation plan together. I'll share that with the board. We'll also take the results and we'll put them on our website publicly so the public can see that. I want to also make sure that we do the mitigation plan when we put those results up, so
Okay.
that they can see what we're going to be doing in that regard.
And we still looking to seek reimbursement from the expenses that we have occurred?
Once
like
I have-
water and all of that from this company? I thought we talked about that
We
as
did talk
well.
about it. Once I have those numbers, I will bring that to the board, and the board, that's a decision the board will have to make, and what the board would want, what's their pleasure.
Okay,
And whatever that pleasure is, I'll follow through on that.
okay.
Thank you.
Hold on, just a couple more. I got two more questions. Okay, they should be quick. I know.
Almost done.
On the payroll, account payables, quick question. Amazon Capital, what is that? I saw
Those are
many
just-
charges.
Those are supplies, either classroom supplies through Laura's office and
Mhm.
that are ordered from Amazon.
Okay,
That's all it is.
okay,
It all falls under that. And actually, Holly in Laura's office
Yeah.
will monitor all of that. So she monitors that, gets the receipts for that, checks everything,
just going through.
make sure it's
Amazon.
right. Yep.
Okay, and the last question I had, and I believe, is Balmoral the only school that has a septic system, or does anybody else tell us? Is it Balmoral?
Balmoral's the only one,
Balmoral.
yes.
Okay, I saw we rented a septic system tank or something. Do you know anything about that? It was like $500, and I wanted to know what was that for? Balmoral.
We'll have to, I'll look at
Yeah,
that
you
one
pull
and
it
see.
back. I don't want to go
Okay.
through it, but I saw that it just kind of stood out. It
Okay,
says
I'll
for
take a
septic.
look at it and see what that is.
Yeah, you know, if we're having trouble out there with the system out there. or
No, we haven't
anything.
had any
Yeah,
trouble
we're
out there.
we're renting $500. We pay $500 a month.
Could it be do we have porta potties for football league?
We got porta potties all over the place.
Oh.
From septic is the one that,
Okay.
the light bulb.
Yeah.
So they could be porta potties that we have for like football games and that.
Okay.
And that, but I'll check it
But it
out for
says
sure.
septic at Balmoral. So. No, it didn't give a school. Just
Okay.
that's probably what it was.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah.
Don't fix the manhole up, the Balmoral, that may be the charging system.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Yeah. I haven't-
Yeah.
He needs a therapy dog.
He has one.
Oh, yeah.
Does he really?
Is there any
It
other
does.
old business?
I have old business.
You have old business. I had old business.
Do we not have discussion about this old? Okay, I have sheets for you for the November events, those are yours. If we could pass these down, guys, take one each of these and let Dr. Kira know. One is the November events. We do have October, the NJROTC awards, that runs in
28.
October. But the high school didn't give us dates on their other.
I know, we've got to
things.
find those.
So we'll get those to you. The play is November 14th, 15th, 16th or something like that, but I don't know the others. So that's the actual ones that we have. And then Terry actually put something together that kind of shows like October, the end of October, November, December. Don't have to sign up for these. These are just like additional things that came through, but you guys can let Dr. Kira know about the November event so we can put that together. And she and I can see what needs to still be covered in addition to what we might want to go to. This is working out fabulously. I'm hearing such good things from the schools. They're so excited that we're out there, we're meeting the kids, we're attending things. So that was my goal, is to make everybody comfortable with the board and the board to be comfortable with our schools. And it appears to be working. So I want to say thank you guys for your extra time. But in the long run, I think it truly is paying off. It's making a difference.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
I have a question though about Mix It Up Day. In the past, there were like specific times, specific things you could do. And here, it's like a big range, you know, a school will say Mix It Up Day, 10 to 3. And I just know I had gone to some activities in the past where there was, you know, it said at lunchtime, we're doing this or.
My guess is they're doing it kind of throughout the day.
Okay, so that would be hard to, right, like one main thing.
So if you wanted to go to that, what we could do is, I could ask him, what would be the best time for you to go at that time?
Okay.
My guess is throughout the whole day,
Mm-hmm.
and then let us know what time you want to go out there.
Okay, all right. It's just different than it was. Like I know in the past, I've gone to a breakfast at MEC
Right.
at a specific time, you know, but,
We kind of got assigned to things so that we
Right.
all at the same place.
right. But I mean, it's fine. And I also want to say too, on Saturday, I did the cleanup day with Crete and the football team was there. And, you know, they had been late at a game at Thornwood, got home at like 11 here and then came out the next morning and they were such great sports. It was a lot of fun. I got a ton of steps in the morning and walked around Crete, cleaned it up. And I just really like that informal interaction with the students where you learn a lot of things just walking around the city with them and just listening. But so that was a lot of fun.
I'm glad that you could go. I was unable to attend that, and that's, you know, one of the things that I've been working on. But I do have to give a shout out to our football team, because if it wasn't for our football team, we'd probably have 5 people out picking up garbage.
That is
Our
about how
football
many were there
team-
other than
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Our football team is carrying the weight on this, and they're loving it. I mean, they don't complain, but we really need to give them a shout out. I sent a thank you to Coach Konecki,
Oh, good.
telling him how thrilled, you know, because normally I'm in on it, and unfortunately this year I had to step back for personal reasons, but they're always more than, there's donuts in the morning, and if there's donuts and coffee, they're ready to go. It doesn't matter how late they were up the night before, and then they also get a lunch. The church serves lunch, and that's all donated, but they really put their hearts and soul into it. I mean, they come back with 20 and 30 bags of garbage at a time, unload and go back out. So kudos to our team and our coaches. There are about, what, 4 or 5 coaches that were there also?
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, at least
So,
5.
Thanks to everybody.
Are they still undefeated? No.
Yes, they are undefeated.
Wow.
Friday night is the next home game, this Friday.
I think
They're-
because of the last game, that means they won conference. I think that's what the boys were telling me.
Wow.
Mhm. This one is the peak out or whatever they call it.
Mhm.
Any other old business? I have one if nobody. So with, Nakia was our IASB rep, and I haven't appointed anybody yet. I had a conversation with Nakia last week to kind of find out what was entailed and what was involved. And I think what I'm going to do is, there's really only activity through the end of this calendar year is to be a delegate to vote on the issues that they'll put forth through the lobbyists at the III conference. I'll do that through the end of the year, and then when we get fresh to January, we'll talk about appointing another member, maybe a newer member, to be our IASB rep. So just thought I would inform you of that.
And how much does that position get paid, you said?
Same thing.
Same as the board
Oh,
position.
I'll take it.
It's competitive wage.
Now you make double.
I'll make double.
Okay, any other old business? Any new business? No? Okay. We do have, need need to go into closed session? Bill, have you seen?
He should be here. He may be going at the.
Right on
Yeah.
Said 7:30.
So we do have a need to go into closed session tonight. There won't be any action item after we come back. All will come back is to adjourn. So anyway, can I get a motion to go into closed session for discussing litigation or an action against affecting or on behalf of the particular public body that's been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent, in which case the basis for finding shall be recorded and entered into the minutes of the closed meeting.
So moved. Second. Third. Fifth, sixth.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Brown?
I almost want to say yes.
Mrs. Root?
Aye.
Mr. Sawalish?
Aye.
Mrs. Galbraith is an aye. Mr. Albrecht?
Aye.
We are enclosed at 7:46.
Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn? Second, okay.
Okay, hold on. Who was first? Who was second?
Rube is first. Swaledge second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned. Fill out your
Your
evaluation, please.
We're adjourned at 8:40.